Welcome everyone. I have Squeeb back again, and we have a new commentator called Vori Vikax.
Virax.
Virax.
God, I didn't realize that if you just change the vowels into long, your name is really messed up. Virax.
I've had Viriax and Viriax and all sorts. Viriax, by the way, hi.
I just stick with V usually. It's so much easier.
V is pretty safe. Yeah.
Oh, God, I thought your name was Q. Darn it.
Yeah, well. No, that's my real name, man. Don't
I didn't mean to.
people
He's
finding
been
me and stuff.
pissing Jean-Luc Picard off for years.
It's true. Oh God. So what I love to do for every single new person is kind of ask what their experience with the game is, like how many times you played it, how much you like it, stuff like that.
All right, well, I like it a lot. It's a great game. I bought it. I bought it sort of when the Game of the Year edition came out, so I didn't get it straight away. But I got everything all at once, and I played it pretty solidly when I first got it because it's brilliant. It's one of the most atmospheric games I've played, and I thought it was brilliant game. So, and I've obviously, well, not obviously if you don't know me, but I've let's played it as well. And
You're a Let's Player. Oh,
did I not mention that?
Iron
Sorry.
Man did. Very impressive.
Let's play it. Yeah, and I put it on my channel, and it's it's good. I like it.
Good. I should probably explain this to you, and probably just a refresher for everyone else. How I'm going to be playing this, just for the pacing sake and stuff like that. I'm not going to be reloading, and any mistakes are pretty much permanent. It's just makes for more entertaining videos. But on top of that, I have restricted myself to not using any drugs, and I'm not using any stim packs.
Oh well.
He
No
survives
stim
off the land.
All right then. So you just eat lots of food then.
Food, sleeping, water, whatever.
That's neat. Yeah, something I was going to ask was like, are you like proper role playing this or?
Oh no, this is
no.
Stuff or not? You know.
it's kind of half and half. Where like I'm going to just say that I'm metagaming. I'm not actually role playing a character, but I'm not going to be doing like too many actions that are nonsensical and just random.
I do see it sometimes. I know there was one point we're just walking through and this guy walks up to him and Pip just shoots him in the head and we're like, dude, what'd you do? He's like, I'm gonna just kill him later anyway. I wanted his lingerie.
All right, that's fair enough.
Yeah. So I gotta ask, because this is the comparison that always has to be made, because some people love it, some people hate it. What did you think about New Vegas compared to this one?
May I step in for just a second? This is a new enemy. This is a Reaver. This guy hurts a lot, and he has a ton of life. Just freaking count the amount of bullets I emptied into his head.
Reavers are pretty nasty.
That's good for you that he glitched on the fence.
It's very good.
Definitely.
This is a chain link. Can't get through.
He also has a projectile weapon that's like a grenade, and he can also shoot things out of his face. High amounts of radiation if you get hit by it, and he does a ton of damage.
Why don't all zombies do that? That's amazing.
If
Shoot
they all did that,
radiation
then
at
every
them.
zombie apocalypse would result in the zombies winning.
Don't they already?
Well, kind of.
If it's the zombie apocalypse, that kind of already designates
Okay,
them
yes.
as the winners.
Yeah. I guess you're right. I suppose. But it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing they don't shoot laser beams from their eyes, or whatever. You know, 'cause that makes it worse.
It would definitely make Walking Dead more interesting.
Yes, and probably shorter, which is sort of my point. You know. Oh, the zombies! Are we dead? There we go then.
That would be hilarious. It's like you think it's just a regular zombie movie, and all of a sudden they start shooting with lasers, and the heroes are like, "Well, that's a thing now."
Yes. Anyway, so question: New Vegas.
Yeah,
You
as
asked me?
as compared to Fallout 3.
Well, I haven't played New Vegas as much as I played Fallout 3, so it would be unfair for me to comment on it, honestly. I think that New Vegas sort of added a whole different sort of thing with the factions and everything going on, which I think was a good move, because in Fallout 3 you've got bandits. You got good guys and bad guys. Basically, it's very black and white in most cases, except for maybe the ghouls. But yeah, Fallout 3 is much more. Fallout New Vegas is much more sort of dynamic, and I think the main quest is a little bit more, I don't know, like. They're both games. They're both good games. I think they're both good games, pretty much. But I've played this game more, probably because it's been out for longer, and I've owned it for longer.
I think you're kind of hitting what most people think about it completely, like me and Piff, is the main story. Because let's be honest, the main story of Fallout 3 was a bit lacking. But that's not why you play this game. I mean, this game isn't there for the main quest line. But I think New Vegas' main quest line was much better done. The faction was good, but I don't know. I still agree with Piff. I just think this game was so much more immersive. Like, I don't know why. You felt like this was a real world a lot more than you did New Vegas. I
guess you're right. I guess that's sort of what it is. Yeah. But like the Fallout 3 main quest isn't that long at all, and it's all right, and it gets you in there, but it's because it's so short. Like you think you're going to play through it and do other things at the same time, but you end up not really doing that much. You do Moira stuff, and then that's sort of it, and you don't really spread out that much with it. It's all the bottom half of the map type thing. So
it's got Daddy Neeson.
Yeah,
that's a plus.
No, and I haven't finished the main quest with New Vegas, but it does seem a lot more immersive, a lot more like a quest for revenge sort of thing initially, and answers and stuff. So yeah, they both have their good sides and bad sides.
Dude, Piff, you got so lucky. You were getting your butt handed to you. And then
that's because there's 2 sentry bots.
Yeah, and then they just decided, you know what? I'm going to be a pacifist now. I don't want to fight you.
No. That's the thing about them. If you actually just walk behind them, they have a hard time turning.
Oh, it was planned.
It was, yeah.
See, this is what I'm unfamiliar with. Skill at gaming. I always mistake it for just random luck
knowing
like I get.
Stuff.
Yeah. I got to remember this isn't me playing here, but someone who actually knows the game.
Well, you do well enough. Come on. I'm curious on what you think about VATS, because there's been a lot of kind of back and forth on the whole like free shooting in VATS, and if it should or shouldn't be in there, how it really melds with the first-person shooter sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they did a great job, first of all, in turning it from a 2D isometric, almost tactical-based shooter into a first-person thing. I thought that was brilliant how they did that, because initially it's like, I can understand people who had played the first 2 games being like, what? You can't do that. That'll never work. That's not what Fallout is. And yet here it is. We're watching it, and it works really well. Mm-hmm. And I think it was, a lot to sort of appease the sort of old school fans by putting it in there. I think it does work, but I think it makes it very easy. Because I did an Iron Man run of the main quest, and had very little bother. Honestly, I played on default difficulty, and I think that VATS is a little overpowered. Honestly, I think it's a bit. But as a straight shooter, the game doesn't really work. Like when you were talking about games like sort of Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl, and stuff like that. That's an actual shooter that works really well. Fallout 3 doesn't really have that without the mods. So I think adding the VATS just adds that little bit of RPG sort of stat-based sort of thing that I think is needed, because as a straight first-person shooter, it's not that good in terms of combat, which I know isn't what you'd play it for anyway, because you wouldn't really play it for to be a first-person shooter.
True Call of Duty.
It's not its main appeal, So I think the VATS is there to add that little bit of the RPG stat-based, skill-based sort of element. The dice rolling almost with the percentiles and stuff like that. So I think that it is a positive thing and it does work, but it does make the game a little bit too easy. Of course, you could just say, well, turn the difficulty up, and that's that problem solved. So it's a very minor complaint. I have very few complaints about VATS, and it looks awesome when you get headshots and stuff as well. So I'm with it. I think it was well done.
If you actually like tried to not play the game with VATS, like with it, just vanilla game, normal without VATS, you'll actually notice that things that like move and attack you move really flipping fast, like to a point where it's really hard to actually hit anybody. Like normally.
Yeah, I suppose it would be because the game's designed for you to use VATS, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's, like I say, it's not really based on being a first-person shooter in the same way as a first-person shooter game would be. So it's built within the game, and that's why I think that it works. It is difficult not to use it, but equally, I think that it's quite easy when you do. Once you get your skills back up, and you're getting 95% headshots, all the time, then you just breeze through certain enemies. It's no problem at all. But by that stage, you almost could feel like you've earned it because you've built your skills up and you've struggled through, and you've got to that stage where you can take headshots and stuff because your character's got better at it. So,
I'll add to you can, even if you decide not to use VATS, it may make it more difficult, but it's still definitely very, very doable to do this entire game without VATS. You might have a problem with a Deathclaw or two, but that was always my biggest problem when people were like, they would hate on VATS so much, and I would just sit there and go, you realize it's a 100% optional feature, right? You could just, I don't know, not use it. And then some people would be like, well, then the game's too hard. It's like, well, then turn the difficulty down.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think it works.
I'm with you 100%.
It's kind of like, you could compare it a little bit to bullet time, It's like bullet time's, it's a bit cooler, but if it's there, you're going to use it, and if you don't like it, then don't use it. But then if you're not using a game, bullet time, in a game, then why are you playing that game? If you don't like bullet time, why are you playing the game? Don't play a game without bullet time, sort of thing. So equally, if you really don't like the VATS system, either don't use it, or if you think this is not as good a first-person shooter as I wanted it to be, then go and play Stalker or something else, because that will be as good a first-person shooter as you'll ever play. So, it's part of the game, and I think it works really well.
I still remember in both games, there'd be whole sections where I just wouldn't feel like using VATS, and I'd just go through it first-person shooter, and I wouldn't say it was the easiest in the world, but I never had any serious problems with it. I could pretty much switch back and forth at leisure and, do okay.
I definitely got a big kick of not using it at times when you're sneaking in and you line that headshot up by yourself and you shoot.
Yeah.
You see the head explode in real time rather than sort of slow motion thing. There's definitely a satisfaction to that when you sort of evolve past VATS and not having to use it.
Oh, look, a bottle cap mine.
They were sort of obliged to use it, but with it being Fallout and everything, and VATS being in Fallout 1, 2, and Tactics. So I don't have a problem with it being there. It should be there because it's Fallout, and I think they've done as good a job as they possibly could with it.